Nearly 60% of all jobs worldwide could be taken over by AI in the next few years. Picture this: a seasoned software developer suddenly replaced by a machine that works faster, cheaper, and never takes a coffee break. Even white-collar roles once thought automation-proof. Lawyers, developers, and yes, content creators like me are at risk. Now, imagine a machine that not only takes your paycheck, but also drains the pool of consumers. If AI takes our jobs, who's left to buy the products these AI-driven companies are selling? It's a paradox that could upend everything. Let's unpack what this means. The AI job apocalypse is here. That morning email could come any day now. Your position has been automated. It's not science fiction. Companies are replacing human workers with AI at record speed. A recent resume builder survey shows that nearly half of companies using ChatGPT have already cut jobs because of it. These layoffs are no longer confined to factory floors. Law firms now use AI to draft contracts in minutes, replacing associates. Banks rely on algorithms to analyze market trends instead of human analysts. Even creative work is being reshaped. One marketing team of 20 was reduced to just 3 people, thanks to AI tools that generate ads, social posts, and email campaigns. The most vulnerable jobs are entry-level positions, which once served as stepping stones for career growth. AI now handles tasks like drafting documents, compiling reports, and answering customer service inquiries, work that used to give rookies their start. Legal departments are replacing paralegals with AI for document review. Accounting firms automate tax preparation. Software companies use AI to write basic code. Across industries, junior roles are disappearing almost overnight. Looking at industry trends, the pattern is clear. Customer support, data entry, and routine office jobs are at the highest risk. But the impact doesn't stop there. Jobs like technical writing, market research, and even graphic design are increasingly exposed to automation. For example, technical writing shows 37% automation potential, while market research is at 36%. This is just the beginning. AI systems that handle basic tasks today will soon take on more complex work as they improve. The belief that specialized knowledge offers protection is quickly fading. Radiologists, for instance, spend over a decade training, yet AI can now detect certain cancers more accurately than human doctors. Professional services face a 16% automation risk, and even management roles are not immune, with 9% of tasks potentially automated. CEOs are beginning to rely on decision-making algorithms for parts of their jobs. The question is no longer if your job will change, but when. White-collar workers once thought automation was a problem for other sectors. That's no longer the case. The same Resume Builder study found that 63% of companies plan to replace some portion of their workforce with AI tools in the coming year. The reductions follow a clear pattern. Entire layers of middle-tier jobs are eliminated, leaving smaller teams to oversee AI systems. A team of 20 becomes 5. 5 becomes 2. The economic consequences are already emerging. Companies save on salaries but lose customers when former workers can no longer afford their products. 60% of laid-off workers report cutting discretionary spending immediately after losing their jobs. This creates a ripple effect. Businesses automating jobs still need consumers to buy their goods and services. Economists call this the automation paradox. Productivity gains that ultimately undermine consumer demand. Some industries are resisting the trend. Healthcare, for example, shows lower automation potential because patients prefer human interaction. Skilled trades like plumbing and electrical work are also less vulnerable due to the unpredictable nature of physical environments. But for knowledge workers, the changes are accelerating. AI doesn't need coffee breaks, vacations, or health insurance. It works around the clock, never calls in sick, and improves with every task. The speed of these changes is unprecedented. It took decades for ATMs to reduce bank teller jobs. AI, by contrast, displaces workers in months, not years. The OECD estimates that 27% of jobs in advanced economies face high automation risk. For workers, this means constant skills obsolescence. Specialized training that once secured a career can become outdated within a few years. This creates a new normal of continuous reinvention. The average worker will need to upgrade their skills multiple times throughout their career just to stay employed. For example, a marketing professional might learn to use AI tools, only to have those same tools eventually replace their role. It's a relentless cycle of adaptation. Perhaps the most troubling consequence is the loss of career paths. Corporate hierarchies flatten when middle layers are removed. Without entry-level positions, how do workers gain experience? Without mid-level roles, where do they learn judgment and leadership? This creates a generational gap. Senior workers can't pass on institutional knowledge if there's no one to mentor. While businesses see immediate cost savings, they may be trading short-term gains for long-term instability. Automation creates efficiency, but destroys purchasing power. Widespread job losses could trigger deflationary spirals as consumer demand plummets. Some companies are already reporting lower than expected returns on automation investments when factoring in reduced sales volumes. The winners and losers in this shift are not evenly distributed. AI tool developers and supervisors see job growth, but for every new AI-related job, multiple traditional positions disappear. Geographic concentrations amplify the impact. Cities reliant on office jobs face collapsing commercial real estate markets as workspaces empty. Policy responses are lagging far behind the pace of change. Governments still treat AI displacement as a future issue rather than an immediate crisis. Existing safety nets weren't designed for mass white-collar unemployment. Workforce development programs often focus on retraining for jobs that may themselves disappear before training is complete. Workers have little bargaining power in this environment. Unions represent only a small fraction of private sector employees in most developed nations. Non-compete agreements and mandatory arbitration clauses further limit collective action. Unlike factory closures, which often draw public attention, white-collar job losses tend to happen quietly, through phased attrition rather than mass layoffs. Education systems are also failing to keep up. Degree programs take years to complete, but entire career paths can transform in that time. Student debt makes mid-career pivots financially impossible for many. The gap between education and employment grows wider with each passing quarter. Underlying all of this is a fundamental question. What is the role of work in a society where AI handles most routine tasks? Optimists argue that new, more creative roles will emerge. Pessimists warn of widespread technological unemployment. The reality likely lies somewhere in between, a turbulent transition period marked by economic pain before potential gains. But job loss is only part of the story. The bigger issue is the economic ripple effect. Displaced workers are also consumers, and their missing paychecks disrupt the economy. The same companies automating jobs still need people to buy their products. This self-defeating cycle threatens to undo the very efficiency gains driving these changes. This looming consumption crisis could become the next major challenge of AI's economic impact. Companies may win the battle for cost savings, but lose the war for market survival. The firms laying off thousands today could face plummeting demand tomorrow, creating a system that undermines itself. The consumption time bomb. Here's the economic paradox nobody's talking about. Businesses racing to replace workers with AI keep forgetting one crucial fact. Those laid-off employees were also their customers. PwC research shows AI could cause $9.1 trillion in consumption-side effects. The very cost-cutting measures boosting corporate profits now threaten to shrink their future customer base. Self-checkout provides a clear example. Grocery stores save on labor costs by eliminating cashiers. But what happens when those former cashiers can't afford groceries? The store's customer base shrinks. Multiply that across industries automating jobs, and the circular flow of money starts to break down. When too many people are cut out of the cycle, the economy falters. The numbers tell the story. When someone loses a $50,000 salary, that's $50,000 less circulating through the economy each year. They stop eating out, postpone buying a new car, and cancel streaming subscriptions. Every dollar not spent ripples outward, affecting multiple businesses. PwC estimates consumer spending could drop by 5 to 10% in heavily automated sectors within 3 years of widespread AI adoption. Picture the economy as a pond. Businesses keep draining water, firing workers, while expecting the pond to stay full. But remove too much water, and the entire ecosystem collapses. AI delivers killer efficiency, but destroys purchasing power in the process. The productivity gains look great on paper until you realize there's nobody left who can afford your products. We're already seeing early warning signs. The The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports slowing consumer spending growth in sectors with heavy AI investment. Personal savings rates are dropping as unemployment rises in white-collar fields. Credit card debt is hitting record highs as displaced workers struggle to maintain their lifestyles. These aren't isolated data points. They're connected symptoms of a broken system. The math gets even scarier when you scale it up. Imagine an AI system that replaces 100,000 administrative assistants earning $40,000 each. That's $4 billion in annual wages vanishing from the economy. Even if the company saves $2 billion in labor costs, the net loss to overall economic activity could exceed $6 billion when you factor in reduced consumer spending. The savings stay locked in corporate coffers rather than circulating through communities. Service industries feel this first. Restaurants near office parks notice slower lunch traffic as white-collar jobs disappear. Dry cleaners see fewer customers bringing in work clothes. Rideshare drivers get fewer commute requests. The effects compound quickly when multiple sectors automate simultaneously. A single corporate campus closing could affect dozens of nearby businesses that relied on employee spending. Housing markets reflect the shift too. In cities experiencing waves of AI-related layoffs, apartment vacancies rise. Landlords struggle to find tenants who can afford rents set during better economic times. Commercial real estate feels it even worse. Why lease office space when AI lets you operate with a skeleton crew working remotely? The tax base shrinks just as demand for social services increases. Automation creates a cruel irony. Companies adopt AI to cut costs and boost profits. But when enough businesses do this simultaneously, they collectively reduce the pool of consumers who can buy their products. PwC research suggests this could lead to a 0.5 to 1.5% annual GDP drag in advanced economies within 5 years. What looks like smart business at the micro level becomes self-destruction at the macro level. Corporate leadership often misses this connection. Shareholders cheer when layoffs get announced. Stocks typically jump 3 to 5% on news of workforce reductions. But within 6 months, many of these same companies report disappointing earnings due to weaker-than-expected consumer demand. The short-term stock boost fades when investors realize fewer employed consumers mean lower sales overall. Some industries face greater risks than others. Consider auto manufacturers. They increasingly use AI in design, engineering, and assembly lines, eliminating good-paying factory jobs. But who buys their cars? Historically, factory workers represented a key customer demographic. Lose too many of them, and suddenly your customer base can't afford your product. The same paradox applies to tech companies making gadgets and appliances. Small businesses get hit hardest. While megacorporations can weather temporary demand drops, local shops and service providers often fail when neighborhood incomes decline. The owner of a suburban hair salon might lose 20% of clients after a nearby corporate office automates accounting jobs. That's the hidden economic fragility AI creates, concentrating efficiency gains while dispersing economic pain. The government revenue implications are staggering. Income taxes shrink with every automated job. Sales tax receipts drop as consumer spending declines. Corporate tax revenues might rise initially, but not enough to offset the broader losses. PwC estimates governments could face 10 to 15% budget shortfalls within a decade under current automation trends, forcing cuts to education and infrastructure just when we need more investment in both. The timing makes this particularly dangerous. AI disrupts industries far faster than previous technologies. The Industrial Revolution unfolded over generations, giving economies time to adapt. AI automation happens in years, sometimes months. Policymakers can't keep pace with changes happening this fast. Safety nets designed for gradual industrial change collapse under the speed of digital disruption. Worker retraining offers little help when the entire job market transforms simultaneously. Traditional solutions like education subsidies and vocational programs work when some industries grow while others shrink. But when AI threatens half of all jobs across all sectors, the usual playbook fails. You can't train all displaced workers for AI-proof jobs that may not exist in sufficient numbers. Global trade adds another complication. In theory, productivity gains should make products cheaper through automation. But if consumers lack income to buy these cheaper goods, the benefits never materialize. Countries might export more to make up for weak domestic demand, but when every nation faces the same automation pressures, the export solution fails. The global economy could face synchronized demand collapse. The psychological impact accelerates the damage. Fear of job loss causes even employed workers to spend less. When people see friends and neighbors getting replaced by AI, they start saving more and consuming less, just when the economy needs them to keep spending. This precautionary saving amplifies the initial shock from actual job losses. We've seen smaller versions of this before. Manufacturing automation in the 1980s devastated some communities, but the effects were localized. The difference now is scale. AI threatens knowledge work across every region and industry simultaneously. There's no unaffected sector to absorb displaced workers, no healthy regions to drive national consumption. This leads to a troubling conclusion. Left unchecked, AI automation could trigger economic contraction rather than growth. Productivity gains get offset by demand destruction. Corporate cost savings get wiped out by revenue declines. What appears rational for individual companies becomes irrational for the whole economy. The system starts eating itself. White-collar recession 2025. Sarah never saw it coming. 1 month ago, she was a financial analyst making $80,000 a year. Today, an AI system does her entire job, analyzing market trends, preparing reports, even responding to client emails. It works 24/7 without vacations, health insurance, or sick days. Her story is becoming all too common in 2025, as white-collar professionals across industries are replaced at record rates. Goldman Sachs recently revised its GDP forecast down to 1.7% as hiring freezes sweep through professional sectors. The damage is starkest in junior and mid-level positions. LinkedIn data shows a 40% drop in entry-level job postings compared to last year. Accounting firms provide a clear example. AI tax preparation tools have eliminated thousands of junior accountant positions in recent months. A senior partner at a major firm admitted off record, "We used to hire 100 new graduates each year to do basic auditing work. Now our AI handles that. We hire 10 people, mostly to manage the AI." The numbers paint a grim picture. Professional and business services sectors are shedding jobs twice as fast as the overall economy. Management consultancies have eliminated 15% of their junior analyst positions. Law firms cut 12% of paralegal and junior associate roles. Even healthcare administration jobs, once considered recession-proof, are disappearing as AI takes over medical billing and scheduling. This downturn is unlike past recessions, where factory workers bore the brunt. In 2025, college-educated professionals are hit hardest. People with degrees now compete with algorithms that don't need sleep or salaries. A recent survey shows 60% of laid-off white-collar workers remain unemployed after 6 months, double the historical average for professional workers. The economic indicators tell a contradictory story. Productivity numbers hit record highs, while unemployment claims surge. Corporate profits soar as consumer confidence plummets. Banks report strong earnings, while small business loans default at rates not seen since 2008. Economists call it a productivity paradox. The economy appears efficient but feels broken. Young professionals face the toughest challenges. The traditional career ladder has missing rungs. Entry-level jobs that once provided training and experience no longer exist. College enrollment dropped 8% this year, as students question the value of degrees that no longer guarantee employment. MBA applications fell 15% as the corporate career path grows uncertain. Student loan defaults hit record highs as humanities graduates struggle to find work. The ripple effects extend far beyond job losses. Downtown office vacancies have reached 25% in some cities as companies operate with skeleton crews. Business lunch spots that survived the pandemic are now closing as white-collar workers disappear. The local economies that supported corporate centers are crumbling. For those who keep their jobs, the pressures are mounting. Survivors work alongside AI colleagues that set impossible productivity benchmarks. A marketing director at a Fortune 500 company described the new normal. The AI produces 100 ad variations overnight. My team used to make 10 per week. Now management expects human creativity at machine speed. Salaries stagnate even for those still employed, as companies freeze raises while demanding more output. Healthcare costs shift increasingly to workers as firms cut benefits. The professional middle class finds itself squeezed from all sides. Not laid off yet, but far less secure. Retraining offers little comfort. Coding boot camps that once promised six-figure tech jobs now graduate students into a saturated market. Workers report spending 20 hours per week learning new systems just to maintain their current positions. The hottest new skill today could be obsolete by next quarter. The psychological toll is immense. Professionals who define themselves by career success struggle with identity loss. Therapy practices report surging demand among formerly high-achieving clients. Antidepressant prescriptions for unemployed professionals rose 22% this year. One laid-off architect shared, "I spent 20 years building my career. Now I'm starting over, and I don't even know where to begin." Geographic disparities exacerbate the problem. Cities with heavy concentrations of professional services, New York, San Francisco, Chicago, see unemployment rates double those of their suburbs. Former office workers can't afford to move where jobs might exist. Homeownership becomes an anchor rather than an asset. The political response lags behind the crisis. Stimulus packages designed for blue-collar recessions miss the mark. Unemployment systems struggle to value professional experience. One laid-off architect discovered his benefits calculation used his first-year salary from decades ago, ignoring his peak earning years. Corporate leadership remains disconnected from the consequences of their decisions. A McKinsey survey found 68% of executives believe AI creates as many jobs as it eliminates. Their own companies' hiring freezes tell a different story. Shareholders cheer cost-cutting while ignoring long-term demand destruction. Education systems are outmatched by the pace of change. Universities built around four-year degree programs can't adapt curricula quickly enough. Community colleges offering 6-month AI certification courses sometimes teach skills that become obsolete before graduation. The gap between education and employment has never been wider. The professional gig economy offers little refuge. Platforms like Upwork and Fiverr report 40% more freelancers competing for 15% fewer projects. AI tools allow clients to produce basic work themselves, eliminating the bread-and-butter tasks that once sustained independent professionals. Side hustles become necessities rather than supplements. Families built around dual professional incomes now face double jeopardy. A married couple working in marketing and finance might both find their jobs automated simultaneously. Household incomes that took decades to build disappear overnight. The safety net that once existed through a working spouse evaporates. Age discrimination compounds the problem. Older professionals laid off in their 50s face hiring algorithms that filter them out before human eyes ever see their resumes. Younger workers lack experience AI hasn't yet replicated. Mid-career professionals get squeezed from both ends. The stratification of the professional class accelerates. A few AI whisperers command premium salaries while most see their earning power decline. The 1% of professionals who understand these systems thrive, while the 99% struggle to keep up. The professional middle class erodes much like the industrial working class did before it. Government statistics fail to capture the full picture. Official unemployment numbers don't count professionals working temporary jobs beneath their qualifications. The PhD biologist driving for Uber doesn't show up as unemployed. Neither does the lawyer now working part-time at a call center. The most disturbing trend may be what comes next. AI systems are moving up the skills ladder, taking on complex analytical work. First it was paralegals, now junior attorneys. First it was research analysts, now portfolio managers. The AI doesn't need decades of experience to start outperforming humans. Before we spiral into panic, we should recognize that potential solutions exist. This isn't the first time technology disrupted work, though it might be the fastest. History shows us that societies eventually adapt, though the transition can be brutal. UBI. The key question isn't whether we'll find answers. Imagine getting $1,000 deposited into your bank account every month, no strings attached. That's the core idea behind Universal Basic Income, or UBI, a concept gaining traction as AI threatens to replace jobs. Alaska offers a small-scale example with its oil dividend, where residents receive annual checks just for living there. Studies show most people use the money responsibly on essentials like food and housing. But could this work on a national scale? At first glance, the math seems daunting. $1,000 per month for every American adult adds up to about $3 trillion annually, nearly 75% of current federal tax revenue. However, we already spend $1.2 trillion on welfare programs with complex eligibility requirements. UBI could simplify this system, cutting administrative costs. For instance, a Cogent Infotech report found that UBI pilot programs reduced administrative expenses by 35% compared to traditional welfare systems. Now let's break down where the money could come from. Imagine a pipeline of funds flowing directly from tech companies and Wall Street into your bank account. A 5% tax on AI-related productivity gains could generate $500 billion annually, according to economists. Adding a 0.1% financial transactions tax could raise another $600 billion. Closing corporate tax loopholes might bring in $200 billion more. Suddenly, that $3 trillion doesn't seem so impossible. Critics often argue that UBI would discourage people from working, but real-world experiments suggest otherwise. Finland's 2-year UBI trial found that recipients worked just as much as those in the control group. The difference? They reported lower stress levels and better mental health. One participant used the money to start a small business, while another trained for a higher-paying job without worrying about bills. Similarly, Alaska's Permanent Fund study found no significant reduction in employment among residents receiving oil revenue checks. The economic benefits could outweigh the costs. Putting $1,000 a month into consumers' hands would likely boost spending, creating demand that keeps businesses afloat. Economic models suggest that every $1 in UBI generates $1.20 in economic activity. This stimulus effect could prevent the kind of consumption collapse we discussed earlier. It also provides a safety net for those affected by AI disruption, allowing people to retrain or start businesses without the immediate threat of homelessness. Consider the alternatives. If millions lose jobs to AI without a safety net, the costs of unemployment, healthcare, and crime prevention could far exceed $3 trillion. For context, the 2008 financial crisis cost the U.S. nearly $10 trillion in lost GDP. An economic collapse triggered by mass unemployment would be even more devastating. UBI might actually be the cheaper option in the long run. Here's how it could work practically. Every adult citizen would receive a monthly deposit directly into their verified bank account. No paperwork, no caseworkers, no hoops to jump through. The system could leverage existing IRS infrastructure, with payments phasing out slightly for high earners to maintain fairness. While some welfare programs for those with special needs would remain, most could be consolidated. The psychological impact is just as important as the economic one. Knowing you'll always have $1,000 coming in reduces survival stress. In Stockton, California's UBI experiment, recipients reported lower anxiety and a better ability to plan for the future. One mother used the money to cover rent while completing job training. Another participant paid down debt that had been a constant source of stress. These stories highlight how UBI can provide not just financial stability, but also emotional relief. Critics raise valid concerns, such as the potential for inflation. However, studies from UBI pilots show minimal inflationary effects, as the extra money tends to circulate in the real economy rather than driving up prices for limited goods. Others worry that the taxes needed to fund UBI could stifle innovation. Yet, tech leaders like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk have endorsed the concept, recognizing the disruptive potential of AI and the need for solutions. The Alaska model demonstrates that UBI can gain bipartisan support. Their oil dividend remains popular across political divides because it treats everyone equally. Recently, both red states and blue cities have experimented with guaranteed income programs, consistently finding better health and education outcomes without significant workforce withdrawal. Implementation details are crucial. Researchers suggest $1,000 monthly as the sweet spot, enough to cover basic needs without fostering complete dependence. Payments could start at age 18 and continue for life, avoiding generational resentment. Funding streams would need legislative safeguards to prevent benefit cuts during economic downturns. The question of work deserves serious consideration. In a future where AI handles most routine jobs, the traditional work for survival model may no longer apply. UBI could allow people to focus on creative pursuits, caregiving, or community work, roles that machines can't replicate. Finland's UBI trial found that recipients engaged in more volunteering and family care than those in the control group. Economic mobility also improves under UBI systems. The famous negative income tax experiments in the 1970s showed that guaranteed income reduced poverty more effectively than traditional welfare. Children in recipient families performed better in school and earned more as adults. This kind of human capital development could be critical in an AI-dominated economy. Funding models continue to evolve. Some propose tying UBI directly to corporate profits from automation, essentially creating a robot tax. Others suggest sovereign wealth funds, like Alaska's oil fund, that pay out citizen dividends from invested capital. The key is to establish stable, politically sustainable revenue streams. Local experiments already demonstrate UBI's potential. In Stockton, 125 residents received $500 monthly for 2 years. Recipients found full-time jobs at twice the rate of non-recipients, debunking the myth that UBI encourages laziness. Nearly 70% paid off debt, and over 50% reported improved health. The program cost just $700,000, a fraction of most government initiatives. Globally, interest in UBI is growing. Spain launched a national minimum vital income program during COVID, while South Korea has begun UBI trials in several cities. Even conservative-led nations like Brazil are experimenting with cash transfer programs. These examples suggest that UBI is moving from a fringe idea to a serious policy option. The ultimate question is whether UBI can prevent economic collapse from AI-driven job loss while preserving human dignity. Early evidence suggests it can, but larger trials are needed. As automation accelerates, the clock is ticking to find solutions. UBI isn't the only potential answer to the AI jobs crisis, but it's the most direct response to the consumption paradox. By ensuring people have money to spend even without traditional jobs, it could sustain the consumer demand businesses need to survive the automation revolution. The robot tax debate. Bill Gates once suggested we should tax robots like we tax human workers. At first glance, it sounds absurd. How do you tax a machine? But with AI eliminating jobs at record rates, the idea deserves serious consideration. A robot tax could work by having companies pay a percentage of the wages saved by replacing humans with AI. Those funds could then support retraining programs or provide direct cash assistance to displaced workers. South Korea offers a real-world example. The government reduced tax incentives for companies that automate too aggressively after noticing automation was outpacing workers' ability to adapt. Their solution was to make businesses pay slightly more in taxes if they replaced humans without creating new positions. Early reports suggest this moderate approach has slowed job losses while still allowing technological progress. Tech companies strongly oppose this idea. They argue that taxing automation punishes innovation. For example, Amazon claims a robot tax would delay warehouse advancements that make goods cheaper for consumers. Similarly, Tesla warns it could slow the development of self-driving technology. However, proponents counter that a modest tax could balance innovation with societal needs. A CFA Institute report estimates that a 10% tax on corporate savings from automation could generate $120 billion annually in the U.S. alone, enough to retrain 3 million workers per year at $40,000 each. The concept is simple. AI saves companies money, society takes back a fraction to ease the transition, and businesses still keep most of the savings. Think of it like a toll on a freeway. Just as tolls fund road maintenance and improvements, a robot tax could fund programs to help workers adapt to a changing economy. Picture dollar bills leaving a factory where robots replaced workers. Some of those dollars are rerouted to education programs, while others flow to unemployment offices or local businesses. This system could maintain economic balance rather than letting all the gains concentrate at the top. The idea is controversial, though. A robot tax might intentionally slow AI adoption, and some economists argue that's exactly what we need. Automation is advancing faster than the workforce can adapt, so adding slight friction could give society time to adjust. It's like tapping the brakes on a car speeding downhill, not stopping progress, just managing the pace. Opponents, however, warn that interfering with market forces often backfires. They point to France's strict labor laws, which made hiring humans so expensive that companies automated even faster. The challenge lies in finding the right balance taxes high enough to fund transitions, but low enough not to stifle innovation. South Korea's model suggests a 5 to 7% range might work. Implementation would be tricky. Calculating the wages saved by automation isn't always straightforward. If a robot replaces a $50,000 job, the math is clear. But AI often reshapes workflows, eliminating some positions while creating others. Tax policies would need sophisticated methods to assess net job impacts across organizations. Geography adds another layer of complexity. If one country taxes robots heavily, businesses might simply automate operations elsewhere. This already happens with manufacturing, where companies move plants to countries with cheaper labor. While a coordinated international approach would be ideal, it's unlikely. Still, regional experiments like South Korea's show that even local policies can have an impact. Small businesses would need different treatment than large corporations. A mom-and-pop shop installing a self-checkout system shouldn't face the same tax burden as Walmart automating thousands of cashiers. Most proposals suggest exemptions for businesses below certain revenue thresholds or workforce sizes to avoid crushing smaller enterprises. The revenue potential is enormous. Goldman Sachs estimates AI could automate 300 million full-time jobs globally. If just 10% of those savings were taxed at 5%, it would generate $1.5 trillion annually worldwide. That money could fund comprehensive retraining, education reforms, or even basic income programs. Currently, most of these productivity gains go to shareholders rather than society at large. Workers have mixed feelings. Union leaders generally support taxing automation to fund worker protections, but individual employees worry higher taxes might make their companies less competitive, ultimately costing more jobs. There's no perfect solution. Every policy choice involves trade-offs. Some economists propose tying robot taxes directly to worker impacts. For instance, a company that lays off 100 people to install machines would pay more than one that retrains those workers for new roles. This approach incentivizes responsible automation rather than pure cost-cutting. The German auto industry has experimented with similar models. Legal frameworks would need to evolve. Current tax codes treat technology investments as capital expenditures with depreciation benefits. A true robot tax would require entirely new categories and reporting standards. Policymakers admit it could take years to design systems that accurately track automation's employment effects. Consumers might ultimately bear the cost. If companies pass robot tax expenses to customers through higher prices, the policy could backfire. This is why many proposals target only large corporations with market power. They can absorb some costs without immediately raising prices. Timing is critical. Implement robot taxes too early, and you might stunt productivity growth. Wait too long, and massive job losses could crater consumer demand. Right now, we're in a transitional phase. Automation is clearly accelerating, but there's still time to shape its trajectory. Educational funding offers one of the most compelling use cases. Imagine dedicating half of potential robot tax revenues to lifelong learning. Community colleges could offer free AI reskilling programs, and online platforms could provide personalized training paths. Workers wouldn't fear automation if they knew free, high-quality retraining was always available. The psychological impact matters too. Knowing society has a plan to redistribute automation gains could reduce public anxiety about AI. Right now, many workers feel powerless against job-snatching algorithms. Thoughtful policies could restore a sense of control and fairness. Historical comparisons are instructive. When minimum wage laws were first introduced, opponents warned they would destroy jobs. Similar fears surrounded workplace safety regulations. In both cases, moderate, well-designed policies improved lives without wrecking economies. Robot taxes could follow this pattern if implemented carefully. Global coordination remains the biggest hurdle. The internet makes it easy for companies to shift operations across borders. An aggressive robot tax in one country might simply push automation investments elsewhere. While international agreements would be ideal, they're unlikely in the near term. Partial solutions, like eliminating tax breaks for automated companies, could still make a difference. Public sentiment is shifting. Recent surveys show growing support for taxing companies that eliminate jobs through automation. Even tech workers at firms like Google and Microsoft increasingly acknowledge the need for policies that share AI's economic gains more broadly. Small-scale testing in U.S. states could provide valuable data to shape national policy in the coming years. Ultimately, the question is whether society should actively shape technological change or let markets decide. History shows that pure laissez-faire approaches to industrialization caused massive suffering before eventually improving living standards. With AI advancing exponentially faster than past technologies, we may not have decades to wait for self-correction. AI-proof careers, for now. Not all jobs face equal risk from AI. Some careers remain relatively safe, at least for now. The World Economic Forum identifies key areas where humans still outperform machines. These positions share common traits. They require emotional intelligence, complex decision-making with incomplete information, and physical dexterity in unstructured environments. But even these fields are evolving as AI becomes a helper rather than a replacement. Take nursing as an example. AI can now analyze X-rays faster than radiologists and predict patient declines hours before human staff notice. But nurses do much more than diagnose. They comfort grieving families, interpret subtle patient cues, and make judgment calls when machines contradict each other. A Johns Hopkins study found that hospitals using AI diagnostics actually hired more nurses, not fewer. The technology handled routine monitoring, while humans focused on care requiring empathy and experience. This pattern appears across many caregiving professions. The WEF's latest Future of Jobs report lists the 5 least automatable professions. Physical therapists rank highest, with just 0.3% automation potential. The job requires assessing patients' pain responses, adjusting techniques in real time, and providing emotional support during difficult recoveries. AI might suggest exercise routines, but human judgment determines what a hurting patient can actually tolerate each session. Similarly, mental health professionals come next at 0.4% automation risk. Therapists listen for subtle vocal cues and body language that AI often misses. They build trust relationships over time and make intuitive connections between seemingly unrelated life events. While chatbot therapists exist, studies show patients prefer humans for most serious issues. The American Psychological Association notes that AI works best as a supplemental tool, not a replacement, in mental health care. Elementary teachers follow with 0.5% automation potential. Managing 20 young children requires constant situational awareness. No AI currently replicates. Teachers interpret unspoken classroom dynamics, adjust lessons based on real-time engagement, and provide emotional support beyond academics. Education technology assists rather than replaces teachers. Automated grading software exists, but human educators craft the actual learning experiences. Skilled trades like electricians and plumbers face just 0.6% automation risk. Their work occurs in unpredictable environments where no two jobs are identical. An electrician troubleshooting faulty wiring in an old house makes judgment calls AI can't replicate. Plumbing emergencies often require creative solutions when standard procedures fail. These professions combine physical skill with on-the-fly problem solving that resists automation. Finally, human resource managers show 0.7% automation potential. While AI helps screen resumes, humans still handle sensitive negotiations, workplace conflicts, and culture building. An HR professional might use analytics tools, but ultimately relies on emotional intelligence when handling layoffs or mediating disputes. People want human judgment for decisions affecting their livelihoods. The common thread among these AI-resistant jobs is what economists call tacit knowledge, skills learned through experience that are hard to codify. An experienced nurse recognizes a patient's unspoken discomfort. A veteran teacher senses when to pivot a lesson plan. This unconscious expertise resists programming into algorithms. Jobs requiring constant improvisation tend to be safer than routine cognitive work. Even these safe jobs are changing, though. Nurses now work alongside AI diagnostic tools. Therapists use emotion tracking software during sessions. Teachers incorporate adaptive learning programs. The roles aren't disappearing, but are becoming human-AI collaborations. Workers in these fields need digital literacy alongside traditional skills. Some surprising careers also show staying power. Hairstylists and custom tailors, for instance, have low automation potential. 1.3%, and 1.5%, respectively. These trades combine artistic judgment with physical skill in ways that resist standardization. Every head of hair or tailored garment presents unique challenges no machine can reliably handle. Similarly, creative fields present an interesting mixed picture. Commercial artists face high automation risk from AI image generators, but fine artists enjoy just 2.1% replacement odds. The difference: originality versus replication. AI mimics existing styles well but struggles with true innovation. The healthcare sector dominates the safe job list. Dentists show just 0.8% automation potential. While AI helps read dental scans, actual procedures require millimeter precision in dynamic conditions. Occupational therapists come in at 0.9%. Rehabilitating stroke victims demands constant adjustment to patient responses. Even in tech-heavy hospitals, hands-on care remains stubbornly human. Social intelligence provides another buffer. Jobs requiring persuasion, emotional comfort, or nuanced communication resist automation. Clergy members have just 0.8% replacement risk, according to Labor Department projections. Social workers show 0.9%. While AI can suggest resources, human judgment determines appropriate interventions. These roles rely on deep cultural understanding no algorithm possesses. Management occupations show surprising resilience outside of routine supervision. While middle managers in predictable industries face risk, executives show just 1.1% automation potential. Navigating complex organizational politics, interpreting incomplete market data, and making high-stakes judgment calls remain firmly human domains for now. Geographic factors also matter. Jobs requiring local knowledge resist automation longer. Urban planners have just 1.4% replacement risk. Each city presents unique challenges. Real estate agents show 1.7%. Understanding neighborhood nuances matters more than data analysis. Localized expertise creates automation barriers. The time horizon matters too. While these jobs appear safe for 5 to 10 years, advancing AI could eventually encroach. Researchers note that today's AI limitations often become tomorrow's breakthroughs. Physical therapists seem safe until advanced robotics combine with emotional intelligence algorithms. Likely decades away, but not impossible. For those considering career changes, hybrid roles combining human strengths with AI proficiency show strong growth. Medical technicians who operate diagnostic AI earn 18% more than traditional roles. Construction managers using AI project planning tools see 22% higher wages. The safest path involves working with AI rather than competing against it directly. Take Maria, a physical therapist who embraced AI tools to enhance her practice. She uses software to track patient progress and suggest exercises, but relies on her expertise to adjust treatments in real time. Her patients appreciate the personalized care, and her clinic has seen improved outcomes. Maria's story highlights how blending human skills with AI can lead to thriving careers. Looking ahead, educators suggest focusing on skills rather than specific jobs. Creativity, emotional intelligence, complex problem solving, and manual dexterity in unpredictable environments will remain valuable. The safest careers combine these human strengths with the ability to work alongside ever-improving AI tools. But even safe jobs require new skills to stay that way. Workers who learn to augment their human strengths with AI tools will outperform those who ignore technological change entirely. The next section explores exactly which skills will prove most valuable. Your skills today might be obsolete faster than you think. The World Economic Forum predicts 97 million new AI-related jobs will emerge, requiring skills most workers don't currently have. The problem? Companies aren't retraining people fast enough. Amazon spent $700 million upskilling workers, but still couldn't close the gap. Research from BCG shows corporations invest only about 1% of payroll on training, far too little for such a massive shift. Let's talk timelines. In the 1990s, skills stayed relevant for 10 to 15 years. Today, that window has shrunk to just 2 to 3 years for tech roles. Imagine a Jenga tower collapsing faster and faster. Our visual timeline shows skill half-lives crumbling under the weight of rapid innovation. Programming languages essential 5 years ago are now handled by AI. Marketing strategies from 2020 fail in today's algorithm-driven world. Even doctors must regularly train on new diagnostic AI tools. Here's the twist. Trying to outcompete AI is a losing battle. The winning move? Learning to work alongside it. LinkedIn reports that prompt engineering jobs exploded 1,200% last year. AI trainers, people who teach algorithms how to behave, now earn six figures without coding degrees. These hybrid roles combine human judgment with AI capabilities. The top 3 fastest-growing AI collaboration skills right now. 1. AI whispering, framing instructions so AI produces useful outputs. One freelancer earns $200 per hour refining ChatGPT prompts for businesses. Law firms now hire AI liaison attorneys to translate legal needs into AI-understandable commands. 2. Bridge interpretation, explaining AI decisions to humans and human needs to AI. Hospitals employ clinical translators who make AI diagnoses actionable for doctors. Last year, a nurse prevented unnecessary heart surgery by catching a misinterpreted algorithm. 3. Augmentation design, building workflows that split tasks between humans and AI. One ad agency increased output 300% by having AI draft concepts while humans refined the best ones. Instead of replacing staff, they made each worker exponentially more productive. Udemy reports course enrollments in these areas grew 450% last quarter. Burning Glass Technologies found job postings requiring AI collaboration skills pay 38% more than traditional roles. Workers who master these techniques stay employed, while others risk automation. Amazon's upskilling program highlights both the challenge and opportunity. Since 2020, they've trained over 100,000 workers in cloud computing and AI fundamentals. Yet only 25% of employees participated, despite free training during work hours. Human inertia remains the biggest obstacle. Most people wait until their job disappears before acquiring new skills. The most valuable future skills won't be technical, they'll be human. Creativity testing shows AI still can't match human originality. A Stanford study found human-designed product concepts scored 28% higher on novelty and feasibility than AI-generated ones. That's why companies now hire creative directors for AI teams. Emotional intelligence is another career-defining skill. AI can analyze sentiment, but humans build genuine rapport. One insurance company replaced claims adjusters with AI, only to see customer satisfaction plummet by 40 points. They reinstated human specialists for interactions while keeping AI for paperwork. Even physical jobs require upskilling. Electricians now train on AI-assisted diagnostic tools that pinpoint wiring issues. Those who embraced the tools saw a 22% income increase by handling more complex jobs. Those who resisted lost work to tech-augmented competitors. The myth of set-it-and-forget-it careers is dead. Even traditionally stable professions demand continuous learning. Teachers master adaptive learning platforms that customize lessons per student. Accountants shift from number crunching to advising clients on AI-generated insights. Architects use AI for structural calculations but lead design creativity. BCG's global research shows only 15% of workers feel prepared for AI-driven changes. Surprisingly, older workers sometimes adapt better than millennials. For example, experienced nurses adopted AI diagnostic aids faster than new graduates because they could better validate the outputs. Wisdom becomes an advantage when filtering AI suggestions. The reskilling race favors generalists over hyperspecialists. Workers with broad baseline knowledge integrate AI tools more effectively than niche experts. A marketing manager with basic data analysis skills can leverage AI insights better than someone focused solely on creativity or numbers. Companies face a tough choice: train or terminate. PwC estimates replacing an employee costs 20 to 30% of their salary, compared to 10 to 15% for upskilling. Yet many firms still default to layoffs. One Fortune 500 company spent $50 million on severance for 5,000 workers instead of $35 million retraining them. Short-term savings cost them long-term institutional knowledge. Successful reskilling programs share 3 traits. 1. Just-in-time learning. Training tied to immediate job needs sticks better. 2. AI sandboxes. Safe environments to experiment with tools before real use. 3. Failure forgiveness. Workers need room to learn without penalty. IBM offers a great example. They replaced annual performance reviews with continuous skills assessments. Workers receive personalized learning paths updated monthly. Since implementing this, internal mobility increased 40% and attrition dropped 35%. The money follows the skills. ZipRecruiter data shows workers adding just one AI collaboration skill see 18 to 25% salary bumps. Those combining multiple skills command premium rates. A graphic designer who learns AI image tools and prompt engineering doubles their market value overnight. Educational shortcuts exist if you're strategic. Many high-value AI skills don't require degrees. Google's free AI courses take 15 to 40 hours for certification. Community colleges offer AI vocational training in 12-week bursts. Platforms like Coursera provide industry-recognized micro-credentials. Even education has a half-life. 4-year degrees lose relevance without ongoing learning. An MIT study found engineering graduates need refreshers every 2.5 years to stay current. Continuous learning is now career oxygen. Some industries already get reskilling right. Healthcare mandates continuing education. Radiologists complete 50-plus hours annually to maintain licensure. Tech could learn from this model. Imagine if every software developer had to demonstrate updated AI collaboration skills yearly. Personal branding matters more than ever. Workers should document their upskilling journeys publicly. One data analyst landed a promotion by sharing her AI tool experiments on LinkedIn. Her posts went viral internally, showing colleagues how to work smarter. Skill building is now visible career capital. The military offers surprising inspiration. Their after-action review process forces continuous improvement. 1. What did we intend to happen? 2. What actually happened? 3. What will we do differently next time? Apply this to your career. Weekly skill audits ensure you're closing gaps before they become liabilities. Set calendar reminders to assess what AI can now do in your role, then adjust accordingly. The ultimate survival skill? Learning how to learn efficiently. Neuroscience shows we absorb information better in short bursts than marathon sessions. Platforms like Blinkist capitalize on this. 15-minute book summaries often teach more than slogging through entire texts. Final reality check. No one is coming to rescue your career. Governments move too slowly. Companies prioritize shareholders. Your skills are your responsibility. The workers thriving in 2025 won't be the most talented. They'll be the most adaptable. Here's your starter action list for this week. 1. Identify one AI tool used in your field and master its basics. 2. Schedule 30 minutes daily for skill building. Mornings work best for retention. 3. Find a learning buddy at work to exchange discoveries. 4. Document your progress publicly. Turn growth into visibility. 5. Audit your skills quarterly like a business reviews its inventory. The great reskilling race isn't coming. It's already here. The winners will be those who embrace continuous reinvention as the new job security. Now let's address the elephant in the room. All this reskilling assumes the economic pie keeps growing. But who's actually capturing those AI productivity gains? The answer might surprise you. The AI wealth paradox. Here's the brutal truth about who's really cashing in on the AI revolution. PwC research shows AI will create $15.7 trillion in economic gains by 2030, but 80% of that windfall will go to the top 1%. Meanwhile, white-collar workers watch their salaries stagnate while their bosses' stock options skyrocket. Let's break it down. Take the tech sector. Microsoft's market cap jumped $1 trillion after rolling out AI tools, equivalent to 500,000 middle-class salaries wiped out by automation. Goldman Sachs reports S&P 500 profit margins hit record highs as companies replace $50,000 per year jobs with $20 per month AI subscriptions. It's like a siphon draining wealth from workers to shareholders. Even skilled professionals are becoming what economists call the precariat. Formerly secure workers now one algorithm update away from obsolescence. The numbers don't lie. Worker productivity grew 4% last year thanks to AI tools, but real wages grew just 0.2%. That extra 3.8%? Straight to shareholders. Insider trading filings show tech executives cashed out $3 billion in stock during last year's AI boom, while the same companies announced layoffs of 100,000 knowledge workers, saving $10 billion in salaries and redistributing it upward. This isn't trickle-down economics. It's vacuum up economics. When a bank automates loan approvals, the CEO's bonus grows while loan processors pack their desks. A McKinsey study found AI could displace 12 million American workers by 2030, but create just 3 million new roles, mostly for AI specialists earning six figures. Fewer good jobs, more wealth concentration. Look at the advertising industry. WPP, the world's largest ad firm, reported record $18 billion profits after replacing 30,000 jobs with AI. Their stock price doubled while junior creatives flooded unemployment offices. The bitter irony? Many of those laid off can no longer afford the products those AI-generated ads are selling. The healthcare sector tells a similar story. Hospitals using AI diagnostics saw 40% higher revenues, but nurses and technicians got 2% raises. A Mayo Clinic study found administrators captured 92% of cost savings from AI tools. Even doctors aren't immune. Radiologists willing to supervise AI systems keep their jobs, but at 20% lower pay. Wall Street's playbook is simple. By AI startups promising labor cost reductions, slash headcount by 30 to 50% post-implementation, watch stock valuations soar on efficiency gains, and cash out before consumer demand collapses. Private equity firms take it further, buying up dental practices, vet clinics, and law firms to install AI systems and fire support staff. One firm bragged about automating 70% of back-office functions across their portfolio companies. Fees for services stayed the same, profits jumped 45%, and experienced workers got pink slips. The wealth transfer accelerates through stock buybacks. Apple spent $90 billion, enough to pay 180,000 workers $50,000 per year, repurchasing shares to boost executive compensation. Meta announced 10,000 layoffs the same week it authorized $40 billion in buybacks. These aren't productivity gains, they're wealth extractions disguised as shareholder returns. Worker productivity per hour has doubled since 1979, but pay is up just 17%. The gap used to fund pensions and healthcare. Now it funds CEO pay packages 400 times the average worker's salary. AI supercharges this trend. One chatbot can replace 20 customer service reps, while customers get worse service. The professional class is learning what factory workers already knew. When Detroit automated, car prices didn't drop, executive pay rose. Today's software engineers face the same squeeze. GitHub's AI assistant helps programmers write code faster, but tech firms use that to demand more output for the same pay. PwC's $15.7 trillion projection reveals the scam. $12.6 trillion to corporations and investors, $2.2 trillion to governments through tax loopholes, $0.9 trillion to high-skilled AI workers, and $0.0 trillion set aside for retraining displaced workers. Even safe jobs face downward pressure. Lawyers who once billed $500 per hour for document review now compete with AI tools costing $50. Paralegals who earned $75,000 now compete with $100 per month software. The credentialed elite aren't spared. They're just last on the chopping block. The data exposes the AI class war. Top earners keep their jobs but work harder for stagnant pay. The middle class gets downgraded to AI babysitter roles, and the bottom 50% face outright replacement. In finance, BlackRock's AI systems now handle asset allocation previously done by MDs earning $800,000. The remaining analysts don't get raises. They get more workloads verifying AI outputs. Similar stories play out in consulting, accounting, and engineering. Education offers no protection. Harvard MBAs used to chase $250,000 banking jobs. Now JP Morgan's AI does M&A analysis faster than any associate, and starting offers dropped 15% last year. The degree still costs $250,000, but the payoff is vanishing. The housing market shows the ripple effects. In San Francisco, AI stock gains drove home prices up 35%, while tech workers got laid off. The result? New millionaire landlords renting to former six-figure earners now driving Ubers. Policy failures make it worse. The 2017 tax cuts let companies deduct AI investments immediately while phasing out R&D credits for human workers. One Walmart exec admitted this incentivized replacing cashiers with robots. The math became irresistible. Worker leverage evaporates by design. Non-compete clauses prevent tech employees from jumping ship. Mandatory arbitration blocks class actions against algorithmic pay discrimination. Even when workers win, the system's rigged. Google paid $118 million to settle wage-fixing claims, then made $60 billion profit the next quarter. The psychological toll is devastating. Laid-off professionals report depression rates triple the national average. Suicide spiked 40% among unemployed tech workers in India's AI hub Bangalore. This isn't creative destruction, it's unchecked corporate greed. Markets reward cruelty. Tesla stock rose 7% after announcing 10% layoffs. IBM shares hit record highs as they replaced 8,000 jobs with AI. Investors cheer workforce optimization, while real people lose healthcare and homes. The wealth grab extends to your data. AI companies profit from training models on your social posts, art, and writing without payment. One study found OpenAI saved $5 billion using scraped content instead of licensing it. The workers who created that value get nothing. Corporate PR masks the theft. Upskilling programs often mean YouTube tutorials instead of real training. New-collar jobs frequently pay $15 per hour for stressful AI monitoring gigs. One Amazon warehouse worker described their reskilling as learning to troubleshoot broken robots for $2 more per hour. Executive pay reveals the game. Apple's Tim Cook made $99 million last year. His average employee earns $87,000. That gap grew 300% since their AI initiatives accelerated. The board awarded Cook bonuses specifically for operational efficiencies, read job cuts. The solution isn't Luddism, it's rewriting rules. In the 1950s, auto unions ensured productivity gains meant higher wages, not just richer shareholders. Today, tech workers lack that collective power. The result? We're all getting taken for a ride. History shows this doesn't have to happen. After World War II, America taxed corporate profits at 50% and executives at 91%. That funded the GI Bill, creating the middle class. Today's 21% corporate rate funds stock buybacks, while workers drown in debt. Workers created AI's value. Tech stands on 80 years of government-funded research. Now corporations privatize those gains while socializing the costs. Your tax dollars will clean up their unemployment crisis. The ultimate irony? AI could distribute wealth instead of hoarding it. The same algorithms optimizing layoffs could calculate fair profit sharing. The tools aren't the problem, the greed is. Industrial Revolution 2.0? Here's the brutal truth about history repeating itself on Fast Forward. The Luddites who smashed textile machines in 1811 weren't entirely wrong. They saw technology destroying livelihoods without creating new ones fast enough. The Industrial Revolution eventually created more jobs than it destroyed, but it took decades. AI is compressing that same upheaval into just a few years. When word processors arrived in the 1970s, secretaries had time to transition to new roles. Today's coders watch AI write software overnight. Studies show AI disrupts jobs 10 times faster than steam engines did. Steam power took 50 years to transform industries. AI is doing it in 5. After the spinning Jenny automated textiles, displaced workers eventually found jobs in factories making those same machines. But they starved first. Average wages took 30 years to recover. That safety net didn't exist then, and repeating those mistakes now means millions suffering needlessly while we wait for eventually to arrive. The numbers look promising at first glance. 85 million jobs displaced, 97 million new ones created, according to the WEF. But those new jobs demand different skills in different places. A laid-off loan officer in Ohio can't just become an AI ethicist in San Francisco. The transition isn't seamless, it's brutal. Consider how steam power played out. Stagecoach drivers became railway workers after years of unemployment. Blacksmiths retrained as auto mechanics once cars became affordable. AI's changes happened too fast for organic adaptation. One TikTok shows a programmer using ChatGPT to do his job, then getting laid off when the boss realized the AI didn't need him. That compressed timeline changes everything. Every techno-optimist points to ATMs. Banks installed them in the 1990s, and teller jobs grew because branches expanded. But that took decades. AI automates tasks in months. One law firm replaced first-year associates with AI before the summer interns even finished their training. The interns arrived Monday, got automated by Wednesday. The Industrial Revolution created factory towns where displaced farmers could move for work. Today's AI jobs concentrate in expensive cities requiring degrees most displaced workers lack. Sure, there are 97 million new jobs coming, but who can actually fill them? Retraining takes time we don't have. Labor statistics reveal the gap. After the loom automated weaving in 1840, new textile jobs emerged within a decade. Today's AI-displaced workers face stiffer odds. Resume data shows only 25% land equivalent-paying jobs within 2 years. Half accept lower wages, and 25% leave the workforce entirely. That's not creative destruction, it's middle-class destruction. Safety nets barely existed during the first industrial revolution. Poorhouses and workhouses served as brutal holding pens for displaced workers. We can't morally repeat that, but our current systems aren't ready. Unemployment insurance assumes temporary job loss, not permanent obsolescence. One Virginia marketer has been unemployed 18 months because every role she applies forgets automated mid-hiring process. The WEF's 97 million new jobs include many that don't exist yet. Just as social media manager wasn't a job in 1995, we can't predict what roles will emerge. But here's the catch. Technology changes exponentially while human institutions adapt linearly. Our schools, training programs, and labor markets move at human speed. AI doesn't wait. Geographic dislocation worsens the problem. Manchester's textile workers could walk to new factories. Today's displaced call center workers in Manila can't just relocate to Bangalore's AI hubs. Even if the jobs exist somewhere, people can't access them. Urban Institute data shows only 12% of displaced workers move for new jobs. Housing costs and family ties prevent it. The Industrial Revolution had one advantage: visible new industries. You could see the factories being built. AI's next act isn't visible yet. Will quantum computing create jobs? Maybe. Fusion energy? Possibly. But you can't retrain for industries that don't exist yet. Nebraska's displaced insurance agents are told to wait for green energy jobs. That might take a decade to materialize in their state. Wage polarization presents another issue. Industrial jobs eventually paid middle-class wages. Many AI-created jobs cluster at extremes: $200,000 per year AI trainers and $15 per hour data labelers. That missing middle hollows out the economy. Bureau of Labor Statistics projections show high-wage tech jobs growing 15%, low-wage service jobs growing 12%, and middle-skill jobs shrinking 20%. Previous transitions had generational buffers. Farm kids moved to cities for factory jobs over decades. Today's 50-year-old project manager doesn't have 30 years to become a machine learning engineer. Age discrimination in tech hiring makes this worse. A Deloitte study found job seekers over 45 face 50% longer unemployment after AI-related layoffs. The skills mismatch is staggering. Industrial workers learned factory tasks in weeks. Farm skills translated somewhat. Today's transitions require completely different knowledge. A journalist can't pivot to AI auditing without years of technical training. LinkedIn data shows only 3% of displaced workers successfully switch industries. The rest compete for shrinking roles in their old fields. Capital requirements differ too. Starting a textile mill took massive investment. Governments and banks facilitated it. Today's AI startups need just cloud credits and laptops, concentrating opportunity among the already technical. One MIT study found 92% of AI job growth goes to workers with existing STEM degrees, not the liberal arts majors getting automated. Union power balanced previous transitions. The 40-hour workweek and paid vacations came from worker solidarity. Today's gig economy offers no such protections. Uber drivers have no leverage when self-driving cars arrive. Even tech workers lack collective power. Just 1% of Silicon Valley is unionized compared to 35% of auto workers in 1950. The industrial economy generated wealth sharing because workers had leverage. Strong unions forced auto companies to share productivity gains. Today's AI productivity flows almost entirely to owners. The top 1% captured 93% of post-pandemic income gains, while workers got 2% wage growth. Without worker power, history won't repeat, it'll get worse. AI's disruption happens within careers, not across generations. That concentrated pain demands faster solutions than wait for new jobs. The Industrial Revolution's darkest years preceded its greatest reforms. AI's disruption will force similar changes, after enough pain. Because here's the ultimate difference between then and now. We have the historical playbook. We know automation's initial chaos eventually stabilizes. The question isn't whether balance returns. It's how many people suffer before we demand it. The Industrial Revolution's victims got monuments. The AI Revolution's victims get LinkedIn posts about resume gaps. But history remembers who fought for AI justice, survival checklist, not who suffered quietly. Stop waiting for politicians or companies rewrite the ending by AI disruption. Right. By the time they act, it'll be too late. The good news: you can take control. Here's your 5-step survival plan, straight from people who've already navigated this mess. First, audit your job's automation risk immediately. Use tools like the OECD's AI Exposure Calculator. If your score's above 70%, consider this your wake-up call. A marketing manager named Jessica ran hers last year, saw an 83% risk rating, and immediately switched to AI prompt engineering. She now trains businesses how to use ChatGPT effectively and makes 40% more than her old salary. Indeed's data shows prompt engineering jobs grew 1,200% last year. That's not a typo. Second, build what I call AI leverage skills. Abilities that make you more valuable when paired with technology. Top 3 right now. Data storytelling, explaining AI outputs to humans. Workflow design, splitting tasks between people and bots. Quality assurance, catching AI mistakes. Take free Google courses on these. They take about 15 hours total. One accountant added data storytelling to her LinkedIn and got recruited by a Fortune 500 firm to bridge their finance and AI teams. Salary bump, $35,000. Third, create an AI side hustle using tools available right now. Platforms like Fiverr and Upwork now have entire categories for human plus AI services where clients pay premium rates for edited AI work. For example, an unemployed graphic designer started selling custom AI-generated logos on Fiverr for $50 a piece. By combining Midjourney outputs with quick manual tweaks, he averages 20 orders weekly. That's $4,000 per month working 10 hours. A freelancer charges $75 per hour to refine AI-generated legal drafts. No law degree required. Translation: you can start small, use free tools, and scale as you go. Fourth, diversify your income outside traditional employment. The smartest workers I know are building 3 streams. 1, a primary job, for now. 2, an AI-enhanced side gig. 3, passive income from digital products. A teacher records herself solving math problems, uploads to Udemy, and earns $3,000 monthly from the back catalog. Her whole production studio is an iPhone and $20 per month in AI editing tools. Start small. Use 11 Labs to voice over PowerPoints or sell on Etsy. The market's wide open. Fifth and most crucial, network into AI-resistant industries. Healthcare, skilled trades, and education won't fully automate anytime soon. A laid-off software developer took a 3-week OSHA course, got certified in solar panel installation, and now earns $90,000 in a recession-proof field. His coding skills? Now he automates parts of his new job and gets praised for efficiency. LinkedIn data shows surprising crossover opportunities. Former journalists excelling in medical writing, accountants moving into healthcare administration. The twist: fighting AI is futile. Winning means riding the wave. Those $2,000 AI consulting gigs? They're going to people who embrace the tools early. That 6-figure AI trainer role? Filled by a former barista who spent nights practicing with image generators. Your checklist starts today. 1. Run your job's automation risk score, 15 minutes. 2. Pick one leverage skill to learn this month, Google's free courses. 3. Create an AI side hustle profile on Fiverr/Upwork, 1-hour setup. 4. Record your first digital product, phone plus free AI tools. 5. Message 3 people in AI-resistant fields for coffee chats. The time window's shrinking. IBM's internal data shows workers who waited 6 months to upskill had 40% lower retention rates. But here's the hope: AI actually lowers barriers to entry in many fields. That marketing manager turned prompt engineer had zero tech background. The solar panel installer had never held a wrench before his certification. The tools exist to remake yourself faster than ever. If you start now. Worried about costs? Here's the secret. Most AI tools have free tiers perfect for learning. ChatGPT's free version handles 90% of what professionals need. Canva's AI design tools are free for basic use. Even GitHub's AI coding assistant has a no-cost option. Your total investment to future-proof? Time, not money. The workers thriving right now share one habit. They dedicate 30 minutes daily to AI experimentation. Not studying, not watching tutorials, actually using the tools to solve real problems. For example, a receptionist automated 70% of her job this way, got promoted to operations innovator. A cashier built an AI inventory system that caught his manager's attention. Now he's the store's tech specialist. Your immediate to-do list. Block 7 to 7:30 a.m. daily for AI skill building. Morning focus beats tired nights. Follow 3 AI tool review accounts on Twitter. Stay updated on new releases. Join your industry's AI discussion forum, r/. The tools are here, the opportunities are real, and the clock is ticking. Start today. Your future self will thank you. The Optimist's case. Here's something you probably haven't considered. What if AI actually leads to better jobs instead of fewer of them? History shows us that every major tech revolution has eventually improved work life. Take ATMs, for example. When they arrived in the 1980s, people predicted the end of bank tellers. But the opposite happened. Banks opened more branches because automation made operations cheaper, and the number of teller jobs actually increased. Their roles shifted from counting cash to managing customer relationships and selling financial products, and today, they earn more than ever before. Morgan Stanley projects AI could have a similar impact across industries. Their research shows productivity gains typically follow a J-curve, short-term disruption, then long-term growth. When steam power automated weaving, textile workers initially suffered, but within 20 years, new jobs in machine maintenance, design, and distribution emerged, paying higher wages. The same pattern repeated with electricity and computers. AI is simply the latest wave in this ongoing cycle. But here's the key difference. This transition will happen much faster. The Industrial Revolution took lifetimes to unfold, while AI's upheaval might stabilize in just 5 to 10 years. That means shorter pain for potentially bigger gains. Manufacturers using AI report 30 to 50% productivity jumps within months. Some of those savings are reinvested into higher value roles. For instance, a factory that replaces 20 assembly workers might hire 5 engineers to improve processes, and those new jobs often pay double the old wages. Let's explore the kinds of jobs AI could create that don't even exist yet. In 1990, no one predicted social media manager would be a career. By 2030, roles like AI ethicist, prompt engineer, and human-machine interface designer could be commonplace. One staffing firm already places robot supervisors in warehouses, people who coordinate between human workers and automation. These hybrid roles combine technical and interpersonal skills, making them resistant to full automation. Workers themselves seem to want this change. A Gallup survey found 70% of employees wish AI could handle their routine tasks. Why? So they can focus on more meaningful work. Accountants don't train for years just to reconcile spreadsheets. They want to advise clients. Journalists prefer investigating stories over fact-checking details. AI promises to remove the tedium from jobs, leaving the more interesting parts to humans. Some industries are already seeing this shift. Architects, for example, used to spend 60% of their time on technical drawings. Now AI handles that, freeing them to focus on creative design work. Their billable rates have increased by 15 to 20% as they deliver more value to clients. Similarly, law firms report that associates spend less time researching precedents and more time crafting arguments. The dullest parts of jobs are disappearing first, leaving the work people actually enjoy. Consider healthcare, where AI reads scans faster than radiologists. Instead of replacing doctors, this technology allows them to focus more on patient care. One hospital system found that AI reduced physician burnout by 40% by handling paperwork. Nurses using voice AI for documentation gain an extra hour per shift for actual nursing. These aren't job losses, they're job improvements. The strongest evidence comes from companies intentionally blending AI with human labor. A marketing agency cut routine content production by 70% using AI, then expanded their strategy team. Their employees now earn more by developing campaigns rather than executing them. Similarly, an insurance firm automated claims processing but hired more investigators for complex cases. The pattern is clear: eliminate grunt work, amplify human judgment. Wage data supports this optimistic view. Roles that combine AI skills with human insight already pay 20 to 30% more. For example, prompt engineers with no formal tech background can make $150,000 or more in some markets. AI trainers, who teach language models industry-specific knowledge, command six-figure salaries across sectors. These new hybrid jobs often pay better than the old ones they replace. Even manufacturing tells a hopeful story. Contrary to fear-mongering, U.S. factory output and employment grew after automation peaks. Productivity gains made American goods competitive again. Robots didn't destroy manufacturing, they saved it from offshore competition. The same dynamic could play out with AI and services. Firms gaining efficiency can expand rather than shrink their workforces. Here's a personal example to bring this to life. A small bakery owner in Chicago started using AI to manage inventory and scheduling. With those tasks automated, she now spends her time experimenting with recipes and connecting with customers. Her sales have doubled, and she's hired 2 additional staff members to keep up with demand. For her, AI didn't replace jobs, it created them. The geographical impact might surprise you too. While some predict AI will hollow out rural areas, early evidence suggests the opposite. Remote work tools combined with AI allow skilled professionals to live anywhere. One tech company's Montana branch now employs more people than its Silicon Valley headquarters because lower housing costs enable growth. AI could redistribute opportunity geographically in ways factories never did. Young workers stand to gain the most. Digital natives adapt quickly to new tools. A 22-year-old marketing graduate using AI can outperform a 20-year veteran stuck in old methods. The playing field levels when adaptability matters more than experience. One Gen Z entrepreneur runs a 7-figure agency with AI handling 80% of execution. She focuses on strategy at scale. Even creative fields are proving resilient. While AI generates basic content, human creators charge premiums for authentic work. An artist selling AI-assisted designs increased her prices by 30% by emphasizing her creative direction. A novelist using GPT doubled their output, but earns more through enhanced productivity. The key differentiator is shifting from production to taste and judgment. The psychological benefits shouldn't be overlooked. Removing repetitive work improves mental health. A Deloitte study found employees using AI reported 28% higher job satisfaction. One accountant shared that automating his spreadsheets gave him his family time back. These stories highlight how AI can make work more fulfilling. History is clear. Technology eventually creates more prosperity than it destroys. The printing press put scribes out of work, but democratized knowledge. Cars decimated horse and buggy jobs, but created millions more in transportation and manufacturing. AI follows the same arc. Short-term disruption precedes long-term gains. The pivotal question isn't whether AI will change work, but how we'll manage the transition. With smart policies and proactive adaptation, this technological revolution could produce the most worker-friendly economy yet. The future isn't humans versus machines. It's humans and machines working better together. So, before you panic about robots taking your job, consider this. The real threat isn't AI replacing you. It's someone using AI outperforming you. That someone could and should be you. The AI economy isn't coming. It's already reshaping work as we know it. You can either watch from the sidelines or take charge, like those who turned AI into their greatest career edge. That $200 per hour prompt engineer role? It could be yours. That AI side hustle funding someone else's dreams? It could fuel yours. Ready to future-proof your career? Hit like to dive deeper into transformative opportunities and subscribe for the insights your financial future needs. Drop a comment. Would you tax robots to fund university?